Hey everyone, quick question. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is right now. Let's see how many of you are alone in the dark. What you're about to hear are real accounts from real people. 3 Halloween experiences that'll make you rethink everything. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's get into it. I'm not the type of person who gets freaked out easily. I've lived alone since I was 23, work long hours as a software developer, and I'm pretty comfortable with my own company. My house is in one of those quiet Seattle suburbs where people mind their own business, but still wave when they see you. It's the kind of place where nothing really happens. The house next to mine has been empty for as long as I've lived here. 10 years now. It belonged to an old guy who died before I moved in, and apparently no one ever claimed it. The yard grew wild, the paint started peeling, and neighborhood kids would dare each other to touch the front door. Standard abandoned house stuff. What wasn't standard was Halloween. The first year I thought the city did it. October 31st rolled around, and I came home from work to find the place completely decorated. Not just a few pumpkins, I'm talking full display. Orange lights, fake cobwebs, inflatable ghost, the works. It looked better than most of the occupied houses on the street. I asked my neighbor Karen about it. She just shrugged and said she had no idea. Figured maybe some community group was trying to keep the neighborhood looking festive. Made sense to me. The next morning, everything was gone, like it had never been there. I'll be honest, I didn't think much of it. Life got busy. Work ramped up. I started dating someone. The abandoned house just became part of the background again. But then the next Halloween came, and it happened again. Same thing. Full decorations appeared during the day, gone by morning. This time I paid more attention. I even knocked on the door after work, called out to see if anyone was inside. Nothing. The windows were too dirty to see through, and the door was locked. That night, I heard noises. Creaking sounds, like someone was walking around in there. I convinced myself it was just the wind, or maybe animals that had gotten inside. But I didn't sleep great. This went on for years. Every Halloween, like clockwork. I tried setting up a camera once, but the footage came out corrupted, just static. I tried staying up to watch, but I always seemed to doze off at the crucial moment. Waking up to find the decorations already in place or already gone. My girlfriend at the time thought I was obsessing over nothing. She was probably right. We broke up eventually, for unrelated reasons. But she had a point. I was letting it get under my skin. By year 7, I decided to do some actual research. I looked up the property records online. The owner was listed as Robert Thompson, deceased 2010. No heirs, no estate settlement. The house was just sitting in legal limbo. I called the city just to confirm they weren't involved. The woman I spoke to actually laughed. "We don't decorate private property," she said. "That'd be trespassing." So who was doing it? Last year, things changed. Halloween came, and the decorations were bigger than ever. Giant spiders, elaborate tombstones with names carved on them, even a fog machine. I sat on my porch that evening, watching trick-or-treaters come and go, and I kept glancing at the house. Around 8 o'clock, I looked up at one of the second-floor windows. There was someone standing there. Just a silhouette, completely still, facing my direction, facing my house. I grabbed my phone to take a picture, but by the time I got the camera open, they were gone. I barely slept. The noises were worse that night. Footsteps, doors opening and closing, sounds I couldn't explain away as wind or animals. In the morning, The decorations were gone like always. 3 days later, I was raking leaves when I heard someone whistle. I looked over, and there was a guy in the yard next door, picking up a fallen branch. Middle-aged, maybe early 50s, wearing jeans and a flannel shirt. Completely normal looking. "Hey," I called out. "You live here?" He turned and smiled. Big, friendly smile. "Nah, just checking on the place. Name's Mike. You must be the neighbor." "Yeah, Alex. That house has been empty since I moved in. What's the deal with it?" "My dad's old place," he said, walking closer to the fence between our yards. "He died back in 2010. I live down in Tacoma now, but I come by sometimes." "What about the Halloween decorations?" I asked. "I've seen them every year. Is that you?" His smile got wider, almost too wide. "Yeah, that's me. Keeping up the tradition. Dad loved Halloween. Used to go all out with decorations every year. Figured I'd keep it going for him." We talked for a while. He seemed friendly enough, asked about my job, the neighborhood, normal small talk. But something felt off. He was too friendly, too interested. And his smile never quite reached his eyes. Finally, I asked directly, "So you come here every Halloween? I've never seen you before." He looked away toward the house. I try to be quick about it. Get in, set up, get out, and come back the next day to take it all down. Don't want to bother anyone. Must be a lot of work. "Yeah," he said quietly, "but it's worth it. Dad would have wanted it." Then he told me this story. He said his dad used to live there alone after his mom died. Mike would visit when he could, but he lived an hour away and had his own family. One Halloween night in 2014, his dad called him late, sounded scared. Said he'd been out getting pumpkins and thought someone was following him home. Asked Mike to come over right away. "I drove up as fast as I could," Mike said. "Got here maybe an hour later. Front door was wide open, lights on, but no dad. Place was a mess, chairs knocked over, stuff scattered everywhere. Called the police. They searched, but never found anything. No body, no clues, nothing." "That's terrible," I said, and I meant it. "Yeah." He rubbed the back of his neck. "They figured maybe he had dementia or something, wandered off. But Dad was sharp, no history of that. I think whoever was following him got him." We stood there in silence for a moment. "So, now I come back every Halloween," he continued. "Decorate the house just like he used to. Part of me hopes maybe he'll see it somehow. Stupid, I know." It wasn't stupid. It was sad. I told him I was sorry, and we talked a bit more before he said he had to go. He shook my hand. His grip was a little too tight, and walked to a truck parked down the street. I watched him drive away, feeling genuinely bad for the guy. That night, I looked up Robert Thompson's death record. Public information, easy to find. He died in 2010, just like Mike said. Heart attack, natural causes, buried at Greenwood Cemetery. But here's the thing. There was no missing person report from 2014. I checked multiple databases, nothing. And according to every record I could find, Robert Thompson never had any children. A week later, I came home late from work. It was dark, pouring rain. My front door was wide open. I called 911 from my car and waited for the police. When they arrived, we went through the house together. The place was trashed. Drawers pulled out, cushions slashed, electronics stolen. My laptop, my TV, about $2,000 in cash from my safe. All gone. But here's what bothered me. There was no forced entry. The door wasn't damaged. It was like someone had used a key. I told the officers about Mike, about our conversation. They pulled up the property records right there on their tablet. "Sir," one of them said, "Robert Thompson had no children, never married, no listed relatives, and he died of natural causes in 2010, not missing in 2014. I insisted I'd talk to someone. They searched the house next door. It was unlocked, which was weird in itself. Inside was the same as always, empty, dusty, abandoned. No signs anyone had been there recently. They took my statement, dusted for prints, told me they'd look into it. But I could tell they thought I was confused, maybe stressed. They left after midnight. I didn't sleep. I kept hearing noises from next door. Footsteps, creaking, something that sounded like whispering. I told myself it was just my imagination working overtime after a traumatic day. But I knew better. I installed new locks the next day, got cameras for every angle of my house, started keeping a baseball bat by my bed. The police never found who robbed me, never found any evidence of anyone named Mike Thompson. The case went cold. Sometimes at night, I still hear sounds from the house next door. And sometimes, when I look at that upstairs window, I see a shadow standing there. I don't know who Mike really was. I don't know what he wanted or why he told me that story. But I know one thing. Whatever's in that house, it's not keeping up tradition. It's not honoring anyone's memory. It's watching, waiting. And Halloween is coming again. October has always been my favorite month. There's something about the way the air changes, how everything feels crisp and clean after the heaviness of summer. Last year, my wife and I decided to spend the whole month at my grandparents' farmhouse with our 7-year-old son, Ethan. My grandpa still ran a small pumpkin farm, more of a hobby than a business at that point. But people from town liked coming out, picking pumpkins straight from the vine, taking photos. It was peaceful out there, quiet, safe, or at least I thought it was. We fell into an easy routine those first couple weeks. Mornings helping Grandpa tend the fields, afternoons with my wife and Grandma decorating the house and porch. Ethan loved it. He'd run through the rows of pumpkins like they were a maze, boots kicking up dust, laughing that pure, unself-conscious laugh kids have. We put up a scarecrow in the field. Just a burlap sack stuffed with straw, old flannel shirt, floppy hat. Ethan insisted we move it 3 times before he was satisfied with the placement. 1 row in, visible from the path. "So everyone can see our guard," he said. Around the 2nd week, I started noticing small things. Some mornings, a few pumpkin vines would be flattened like someone had walked through them. No boot prints, just disturbed dirt. I figured it was deer, though there weren't any hoof marks. Then there was the scarecrow's hat. Twice I could have sworn it was positioned differently than I remembered, pulled down at an angle, shadowing where the face would be if we'd drawn one. I told myself it was just the wind. Hats shift. It was a stupid thing to worry about. On a Sunday, we had a decent crowd come through. Church group stopped by after services. Weather was perfect. Kids posed on hay bales for photos. Grandpa seemed tired that day, kept rubbing his chest, said his jacket felt too tight. I made him sit down, brought him water. He waved off my concern with that stubborn smile of his. Monday morning, I was up before everyone else. Coffee in hand, standing on the back steps, watching fog roll across the field. That's when I saw footprints in the damp dirt. Not ours, not boots with treads. Smooth-soled shoes, deep at the heel like someone was carrying something heavy. They came in from the far fence, crossed 2 rows, and stopped right at the scarecrow. Then they turned back the way they came. I checked the fence. Old wire, sagging low enough to step over. Neighbors used paths like that sometimes. Still, something about those prints stopping at the scarecrow made my chest feel tight. I went back inside, told myself to let it go. That night, Grandpa said he was feeling off, tired, a little nauseous. Grandma felt his forehead, said he was warm. He didn't want to make a fuss, said he'd see how he felt in the morning. I slept poorly, kept waking to small sounds I couldn't place. Once, something that sounded like a soft knock. Not on a door, more like something being set down on wood. Then a rustling outside when there wasn't any wind. Each time I'd sit up, listen hard, hear nothing more. October 21st. I remember the date exactly because it's burned into me now. Ethan was always the first one awake. He loved the farmhouse, loved running through it in his socks, sliding on the wood floors. He'd open the back door every morning to check on his scarecrow. That morning, I woke to the sound of the back door closing, glanced at my phone, 6:43. I was half asleep, figured he was just looking outside like always. I got up, went to the bathroom, started brushing my teeth. Then I heard him scream. Not a kid fell down scream, not a scared of a spider scream. This was pure terror, high and sharp and cut off too fast. I ran. Didn't grab shoes, didn't think, just ran. Out the back door, into the yard, yelling his name. The field was quiet. The scarecrow stood where we'd left it. No movement. No Ethan. I ran into the rows, shouting for him, my voice bouncing back at me from the trees. My wife came running from the house, my grandma behind her. I could hear my own breathing, harsh and panicked. Third row in. Near the path that leads to the old fence line, I found his shoe, just lying there on its side in the dirt. The blue one with the scuff mark we could never clean off. I called 911. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial. The police came fast. County sheriff, 2 deputies, more cars arriving. They moved with this calm efficiency that somehow made everything feel more real and more terrifying at the same time. One officer took my statement while another walked the field. My wife sat on the back steps, holding Ethan's other shoe like it might break. Grandpa tried to get up to help search, but he was too weak. Grandma sat him back down with water. They asked the standard questions. Anyone who might want to hurt us? Any strange visitors? I mentioned the footprints, the scarecrow's hat that kept shifting. It sounded insane saying it out loud. A neighbor came over when she heard the sirens. Said she'd seen someone the night before, walking fast along the road by the creek, carrying something bulky. She hadn't thought much of it at the time. People walked there to fish sometimes. The sheriff brought in a K9 unit. The dog picked up a scent at the shoe, followed it toward the fence, through the scrub brush, along a narrow path I'd used as a kid, but hadn't thought about in years. I followed at a distance, trying not to trip, trying not to throw up. The path led to an old cabin. More of a shack, really. Used to be for storing tools, but it had been abandoned for decades. I'd played near it as a kid, used it for hide and seek. Then I grew up and forgot about it. 2 deputies approached with their hands near their weapons. The sheriff called out, identified himself, asked anyone inside to respond. No answer. He knocked. Then I heard it, a shuffling sound from inside, and a small, choked noise that might have been my son trying not to cry. They opened the door. I heard shouting, commands, not screams. Something fell. Then one of the deputies was talking in that calm voice people use with scared children. The sheriff called back, "We've got him." They brought Ethan out wrapped in a deputy's jacket. His face was streaked with dirt. He wouldn't let go of the deputy's neck at first. Then he saw me and reached for me with both arms. I held him so tight. I could feel his heartbeat against my chest, fast and terrified. The man came out in handcuffs, 30s, maybe 40, scraggly beard, tired eyes that didn't look at anyone. Wore a plain jacket and flat-soled shoes, the shoes that had left those prints by the scarecrow. He looked like anyone. That was the worst part. There was nothing remarkable about him, nothing you'd remember if you passed him on the street. They took him away. The paramedics checked Ethan, scrapes and dirt, but no injuries. He wouldn't talk at first. Just sat on my lap, staring at nothing. Eventually, in a voice so small I barely heard it, he told us what happened. He'd gone out to check on the scarecrow, saw the hat on the ground, bent to pick it up. The man stepped out from the tall grass we hadn't cleared yet, spoke softly. Ethan tried to run, but the man grabbed him, carried him. That's when he lost his shoe. The cabin was dark. There was a blanket, a chair. The man told him to be quiet, to lie down. Didn't tie him up, didn't hit him. Just kept him there. He looked tired, Ethan said. That detail stuck with me. The sheriff told us later that the cabin showed signs someone had been living there. Food wrappers, a sleeping bag, a backpack with a few belongings. No ID. They'd figure out who he was eventually. I asked why. Why my son? The sheriff just shook his head. Sometimes people drift. Sometimes they see an opportunity and take it. We may never know exactly why. We stayed 2 more days. Put a floodlight over the back steps, added a lock to the gate we'd never locked before. Took down the scarecrow. Ethan didn't want it anymore, and neither did I. Grandpa cried once. I wasn't supposed to hear it, but I did. He blamed himself for being too sick to watch the field that morning. I told him it wasn't his fault. I said it over and over. I'm not sure he believed me. The man was identified later. No permanent address, some minor arrests in his past. Drifter, seasonal work when he could get it. He'd been seen around town the week before, sleeping rough, going through dumpsters. No evidence he'd been planning this. No notes, no pattern, just opportunity. I wish there was a clearer explanation, something that made sense. But there isn't. What we had was a line of footprints, a scarecrow with a slipping hat, and a door opening onto a dark room I never wanted to think about. What we had was luck, fast response, a good tracking dog, neighbors who paid attention. What we had was our son back. We went home at the end of October, brought some pumpkins we never carved, put one on our balcony and let it rot there, caving in on itself. Every time I saw it, I thought about how quickly things go wrong when you're not watching. Ethan slept on a mattress in our room for weeks. He'd wake at 6:43 sometimes, his body remembering, and crawl into bed between us. By January, he was back in his own room. By spring, he seemed mostly okay. But I do 2 things now I didn't before. I check fence lines everywhere I go, parks, school fields, anywhere. I look for gaps, easy access points, paths people don't use. And I never put up decorations that look like people. No scarecrows, no silhouettes in windows. If something's going to stand guard over what I love, it needs to be real. It started the first week of October, senior year. Halloween was coming, and for my friend group, that meant party planning. We'd been throwing a Halloween party together since sophomore year. It was our thing. I'm Liam, by the way, the planner of the group, I guess. There was also Chloe, who acted tough, but was secretly the easiest to scare. Ben, who always needed a logical explanation for everything. And Sam, quiet but solid. The kind of friend who'd show up at 2 a.m. if you needed him. I created a new group chat, added the 3 of them, named it Halloween 2019. Within minutes, we were going back and forth about themes, decorations, who was in charge of music. Normal, fun, safe. Then I noticed a fifth number in the chat. Just digits, no name attached. "Who's this?" I typed. Ben suggested it was probably one of us using a different phone. Chloe said it wasn't her. Sam hadn't added anyone. We were about to brush it off when a message came from the unknown number. "This sounds fun. Simple, but wrong somehow." "Who is this?" Ben asked directly. The reply came fast. "Don't be scared, Chloe. It's just a party." Chloe typed back immediately. "How do you know my name?" We tried to laugh it off. Common name, lucky guess. But none of us really believed that. The number went silent for a few days. We kept planning the party, but it was like someone was standing behind us, listening to everything. A week later, we were at the park. Our usual spot, a bench by the duck pond. Just hanging out after school, laughing about something stupid. That night, the unknown number posted a photo in the chat. It was us, on that bench, taken from behind a tree, from a distance. Someone had been watching us. My stomach dropped. Ben tried to rationalize it in the chat. Probably just someone from school messing around. They saw us at the park. Stupid prank. But the next message was for him specifically. "Still think it's a joke, Ben? You should be more careful crossing Elm Street. That blue sedan almost hit you today." Ben didn't respond. We all knew why. He'd had a close call with a car that afternoon, mentioned it when he got home. But he hadn't said anything about it in the chat. Nobody but us knew about it. The messages got worse. They knew about Sam's crush on a girl in our chemistry class, something he'd never told anyone except me. And I'd never told the others. They knew I was terrified of failing calculus. They knew Chloe had nightmares about being trapped in small spaces. A secret she'd only shared with me late one night when we were alone. They dropped these details casually, twisting our private fears into weapons. We tried blocking the number. Didn't work. It stayed in the chat like it had rooted itself there. Ben finally lost it. "I'm done. This is stupid." He left the group chat. A minute later, he texted me privately. "My phone is freaking out. Apps are opening and closing on their own." Then, in the main chat, the unknown number posted another photo. Ben, asleep in his bed. Covers pulled up, face peaceful. The photo was dark and grainy, clearly taken from inside his room, from the foot of his bed. The timestamp said 3:14 a.m. the night before. Ben was added back to the chat. A message followed. "You can't leave." That was it. We were done trying to handle this ourselves. We met at my house the next day. Not texting, not calling, just showing up. We sat in my living room, all of us staring at our phones like they might explode. "We have to go to the police," Chloe said. "And say what?" Ben shot back. "Some anonymous number is sending us weird texts. They won't do anything until something actually happens." He was right. We had no proof of a crime, just threats that felt deeply personal, but were ultimately just words on a screen. Sam, who'd been quiet the whole time, spoke up. "Let's find out who owns the number. There are websites for that." We paid for a reverse lookup service, waited while the page loaded. A name came up with an address, but it was the notes at the bottom that made us stop breathing. Device reported stolen May 17th, 2017, 2.5 years ago. Stolen right here in our town. The original owner's name meant nothing to us. Whoever was doing this was using a ghost phone. Untraceable. The party was 2 days away. Chloe wanted to cancel. I surprised myself by saying no. If we cancel, they win. They're controlling us. We'll be careful. My house only. Check IDs at the door. No masks until people are inside. Ben and Sam agreed. It felt like taking back control, even if it was an illusion. Halloween night came. My house looked good. Decorations everywhere, music playing, people showing up. For a few hours, it felt almost normal. We checked our phones constantly, but the chat stayed quiet. Maybe it was over. Maybe they'd gotten bored. Just after midnight, most people had left. Only our core group and a handful of others remained, cleaning up and talking in the living room. The doorbell rang. We all froze. Nobody else was supposed to be coming. I looked through the peephole. Someone stood on my porch wearing a black hoodie and a plain white mask. The kind with no expression, just blank plastic. "Who is it?" Chloe whispered behind me. "I don't know." I opened the door a crack. "Can I help you?" He didn't answer, just pushed the door open, forcing me backward, and stepped inside. The last few people at the party went silent. This wasn't a guest. Everything about him felt wrong. He reached into his hoodie pocket and pulled out a knife. "Phones and wallets on the table. Now." His voice was low, raspy, not a voice I recognized. My mind raced. Was this him? The person from the chat? After all the psychological torture, was this how it ended? But then Sam moved. I'd known Sam took martial arts classes for years, but I'd always thought of it as just a hobby. I'd never seen it in action. Before the guy could react, Sam stepped forward. Not back, forward. He struck the man's wrist with precision. I heard something crack. The knife clattered to the floor. Sam didn't stop. A kick to the side of the knee, and the man crumpled. Ben snapped out of his shock and helped pin him down. "Liam, call 911, Sam yelled. I did. The police arrived fast. They cuffed him, pulled off the mask. Complete stranger. None of us had ever seen him before. Just some local opportunist who'd seen a party and thought it'd be an easy score, according to the officers. They searched him, found a cheap, cracked smartphone in his pocket. It wasn't the ghost phone. The man was arrested. The police took statements, praised Sam for his quick thinking. My parents came home. The night ended. We never heard from the unknown number again. The group chat is still on our phones. We never deleted it. A digital graveyard of our terror from that October. We never found out who it was. Was it someone who got their thrill from tormenting teenagers online and then just stopped? Did they plan to show up but someone else beat them to it? Was the robbery the most terrifying coincidence of our lives? We'll never know. The man who broke into my house is in jail. But the person who broke into our lives, who knew our deepest fears and watched us from the shadows, is still out there somewhere. And that's a kind of horror that no amount of martial arts training or police response can ever fully protect you from. The not knowing, the sense that they're still watching, still waiting, still part of our lives, even though we can't see them. Every notification still makes us jump. Every unknown number still makes us pause. We graduated, went to different colleges, but we still have that chat on our phones. None of us can bring ourselves to delete it, because deleting it would feel like pretending it never happened. And we all know it did. So there you have it. 3 real encounters that happened to real people during what should have been the most fun time of the year. Makes you wonder what's lurking just out of sight, doesn't it? If you made it this far, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We drop videos like this every single day. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me which story got to you the most. And share this with your friends. especially the ones who think nothing scares them anymore. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.